Does the military have a point? Can Hamas realistically be completely destroyed?
Thank you for having me on. The military is right. First of all, Hamas cannot be destroyed as an ideology, and all of its people cannot be wiped out. But for several years, I was involved in the Defeat Islamic State campaign, 2018, 2019, 20. And we knew we couldn't destroy it, but we could defeat it in the sense of removing it from power and taking away its offensive capabilities. That's exactly what the Israelis have been doing. The Israeli admiral is right that you can't defeat Hamas, but he's being a little bit disingenuous because he knows that Prime Minister Netanyahu, at least, understands this. And from time to time, Netanyahu speaks in less apocalyptic terms about dismantling Hamas. The problem is Netanyahu has to deal with some very right-wing members of his cabinet who do not want to end this war, who do not want to have a day after. But Netanyahu, of course, has advanced this ceasefire proposal that would have all Israeli forces leaving Gaza. The question is under which conditions. So I think there's probably less than meets the eye, but it still indicates that there's friction within the Israeli government.
Well, on the ceasefire proposal, we, of course, had that outlined in a big address from the White House by President Biden. Almost immediately, it seemed that Netanyahu was trying to walk part of it back. You saw pushback, obviously, from Hamas. They submitted a counter proposal. Is that original ceasefire three-stage deal that the president had outlined now dead in the water? Where exactly do we stand?
Not at all. The administration is still pressing through Qatar and Egypt, Hamas, to give an answer. Netanyahu stands by it. The problem is the president glossed over the core part of this whole thing. Israel is putting on the table a cessation of the war and a withdrawal of its forces from Gaza. But it has conditions. Those conditions would be the subject of negotiations during the first of the three stages, and it's not guaranteed that Hamas would agree to them or that Israel would even compromise on any of its positions and thus leave. It has to see Hamas not in power, and it has to be ensured that, and reassured rather, that Hamas will not reconstitute as it has done before. Those are realistic war goals. The Israelis are advancing them, and we'll see what Hamas will do.
Well, and that goes back to something you mentioned a moment ago, the idea that you take out the power of Hamas, or the ability for it to conduct operations like what happened on October 7th. We heard when President Biden was outlining this deal at the White House weeks ago, the idea that, yes, Hamas's military capability, their ability to conduct another October 7th has been eliminated. Is that not entirely true, Ambassador?
That is true today. But if Hamas is left in control of Gaza, and if it regains control of the Philadelphia corridor to Egypt and the Rafah crossing, and thus is able to bring in the hundreds of millions of dollars of supplies, concrete, rebar steel, and most importantly, Iranian weapons, it will soon have that capability to attack Israel again, the next time possibly coordinated better with Iran and Hezbollah. This is an existential threat to Israel. So Israel will not accept a ceasefire. It will not leave Gaza unless it is assured of several things. One is that some international or other entity will come in and govern Gaza, and that Hamas will be forced to accept that. And two, that Hamas never gains control of the Egyptian border again. I think those are the key conditions that Israel will be advancing in any talks if they get to them with Hamas.